In this video, I'll discuss working with objects in Adobe InDesign CC 2015. Now I've got some objects on my page. I've got a rectangle, a circle, a polygon, and some text. And notice how they've all got a blue outline. Now, the way things are set up currently, if I try to print this page out, the only thing we would see are the words sum and text. We wouldn't see anything else because when you create objects in InDesign, they're there unless you give them a stroke and a fill, they won't be printing objects. They typically act as containers. So even this container right here, we can see that we've actually got space for a couple of extra lines here, but the outline around some text isn't going to print unless we apply a stroke. Now the other thing is, if I go ahead and click on this object, I'll go ahead and try to drag it, and that worked fine. But let me try that again. Okay, I'm clicking here, nothing is happening. And if I click and drag and release, nothing happened. The reason is that this doesn't have a fill. So if you've got an object that doesn't have a fill, you're going to have to apply a fill before you can click in the center of it to move it. Let's go ahead and select this object and apply a stroke. Because remember, right now it's not going to print because there's no stroke assigned to it. Notice how the stroke is 0, and down here we have a diagonal red line going through to indicate there's no stroke. So I'll just apply a stroke of 3 points, and there we go. I'll do the same thing with this fella, and I'll make him 6 points, and this one I'm going to make 10 points. Now, once again, even though I've applied a stroke to this, I still can't move it unless I click on the edge and move it. If I apply a fill, on the other hand, if I click now and drag, I can actually move that object. So the message there is that if there's nothing in the object, if it's transparent, if there's no fill, then you can't click and move it. Once you've applied a fill, even if it's white, you can actually move it. It's a little different with text though. This text frame, I don't have to apply a fill to move it by clicking on the center. I can click anywhere and just drag and I can move it. So just keep that in mind that you can actually move that, just not the shapes. So that's an important part of working with InDesign. Now the other thing is that you can lasso objects. I'll go ahead and click and drag. Now notice how I'm clicking and dragging and lassoing just around part of the rectangle and part of the circle, but I'm avoiding the frame that contains the words some text. And if I release now, I've selected these two objects. This is not selected. I'll go ahead and click and drag, and there you go. We can actually select multiple objects that way. And you only have to lasso around part of the object in order to select it. So I've selected all three of those objects, and I'm able to move them. Now, one other way of selecting multiple objects that are in irregular patterns, for instance, if I wanted to select the three shapes but leave that text frame alone, I just click on the first shape and then hold down Shift, click on the second, and then the third, and now I've selected just those three objects and left the text frame alone. If I want to deselect something with multiple items selected, just hold down Shift again and click on the object you want to remove from the selection. And there you go. I've removed the circle from the selection, and now when I click and drag, I've just got these two objects selected. So working with objects is a little bit tricky in InDesign. It's a slightly different metaphor than working with Illustrator. There are some similarities, but once you get accustomed to it and just sort of realize that things are containers, and that even if you draw something like a rectangle or a circle and you see an outline around it, a blue outline, it may not have a stroke. And the way to tell is just to check here to see if there's actually something other than 0 points, and here to make sure that the stroke has a color. And selecting objects, once again, becomes something that you can do in a number of different manners using the selection tool, whether it be through lassoing, shift clicking, or just clicking on an object. And if it doesn't have a fill, then you have to click on the stroke or the outline of the object, because clicking on the center won't work.